When I started out in my career, I thought I was going to solve the world's problems with math and science. The further I got down the road, I found that there's more than math and science. All the people-y things were the things that were challenging. Hi, everybody. This is Kris Liebau, and welcome to Leading Off the Spreadsheet. I'm so excited to welcome you to this new podcast. I wanted to share a little bit more about myself. I'm an engineer turned engineering leadership coach. So that might sound like, how did you go from this end of the spectrum all the way over to here? And when I started out in my career, I thought I was going to solve the world's problems with math and science. I grew up in a house where we dug in and we built things. We put an addition on our house. I built stuff in the garage with my dad. And I loved building and designing and coming up with different things. And so I went to college. I went to Michigan Tech. I got my mechanical engineering degree. And I set off into the world. And math and science, everything is figure outable. And the further I got down the road, I found that there's more than math and science to these things. And the people part, all the people-y things were the things that were challenging. So then I went and I got my master's in engineering management because I didn't have a passion technically of something that I wanted to really dedicate my whole life to. And I thought, well, maybe there's something to figuring out this people aspect of stuff and getting some advanced learning. And it was at that time that I learned about emotional intelligence and things like the golden rule doesn't apply when it comes to treating people how you want to be treated. It's treating people how they want to be treated and really tuning in. And so that really started this curiosity around the people aspect of things. And my career shifted a little bit more into the quality realm. So corrective act, in manufacturing, aftermarket, quality management systems, auditing, the whole shebang. I got to see the whole organization. And going through there, the thing that I found the hardest part was that root cause, the things that people didn't want to talk about that were big contributors to either why things happened or why the processes that were put together in order to address that failed. And really, we are so focused on the product, the process, the project, that if you're going to do the Venn diagram, there's this big circle that goes around all of it that's about the people, The people are the things that make that happen. And it's not just the people doing the things, it's the internal mental process of those people, both the people doing it, the people leading the change, the people developing the change. And being able to have those really difficult conversations about, wow, your baby's really ugly, That's a skill, right? And if that's really truly something that's driving an issue, we need to be able to have the skills to talk about that thing. And that's hard. There isn't an equation that you can do or a design of experiments to figure out how to construct that conversation. And so I'm one of these people, I like to sit back, I like to think about it and analyze it. Being able to be in the moment and think on my feet, stay out of my own way, and not shutting down, not avoiding, having those conversations, getting really curious, not being super attached to our solution or how we think that thing needs to come together, to truly engage in a conversation where we're working together and building the creativity and the collaboration, to come up with these unique ideas, to build the buy-in, to build these relationships. That is the fundamental part of a lot of what we do, There's the facts and the data, and then the other half is this emotion and motivational side of things. And particularly, right? As engineers, as scientists, as analysts, as lean professionals, project managers, we're always looking at, right, solving the problem, anticipating the risk, fixing things, right? Like we put the plan together. Okay, great, that's step one. Well, then it's managing the deviation of that plan throughout that. And it's a really important skill to have. And we can't manage people in the same way, right? We work to fix these problems, right? People don't want to be fixed, right? And so we need a different set of skills. We need to engage with people in a different way in order to move important things forward. Again, build those relationships, manage conflict. Conflict's not a bad thing. We need that. And we need to do a good job when we're in those difficult situations. So the way that I see it is, right, it's the power of the people within this. And as much as I love spreadsheets and flowcharts, I actually found out that I am a people person. Either I've been lying to myself for years, or this was an evolution of things as it came, realizing that, right, it's our ability to communicate, to have these amazing relationships. And it's not just about getting the work done. That's an important part of it. For me, it's about having these relationships with these people, right? Work is tough. The world is changing so fast. There are so many disruptors. Our biggest advantage that we have moving forward is being able to talk to other people and build these relationships moving forward. So how do we lean into that? So, moving away from the to-dos and the facts and the thing, right? We've got AI to help us out with a lot of these things. We've got these new fancy systems. We need to be able to communicate with people and move things forward. So ultimately, like I said, I guess I am a people person in that way. And I felt so passionate, right, about having these conversations with people, seeing this as being a big challenge within organizations that I worked in, or, right, looking at customers or looking at suppliers. I felt so compelled about this that I decided to leave industry and start this leadership coaching business, Action and Ease Coaching. And a big part of that is really informed by my personal journey too. Again, I talked about, right, taking, that master's, getting that engineering management, and looking like, where are my challenges at work, right? It's not the doing of the things. I still joke that my job description in a lot of places should have been miscellaneous. When somebody couldn't figure out how to do something, they'd be like, oh, just give it to Kris, she'll figure it out, right? The other duties as assigned, that was, right, 80% of my work that came up with things. And that part came easily to me. Those things were figure outable, right? I could make a flow chart. I could ask questions. I could pull it together. I could make that picture. And I loved that aspect of stuff. That came so easily to me, right? It was more the pulling together and communicating those ideas so that we could use that to be productive, to implement things, to change things. I've talked a lot with, right, people that are, black belts or whatever color lean belt you want to talk about, right? Consultants that go into organizations, that work with organizations on these problems, right? And they put in place these wonderful solutions. And then, a year later, they come back and they say, right, how is that going? And like, yeah, well, it didn't work. And part of it is, right, it's the people, it's the hearts and the minds aspect of stuff. How are we developing these solutions? How are we implementing these methods with things that stick, that have long-term results? So again, really looking back on my personal journey and the challenges, right, with the people-y part of things, and really driving for solutions. And what course do you take? What's the class? How do you learn to manage that? Right? That's the power of coaching, right? Training courses that are out there, you can do stuff on time management, different software, all these types of things. The challenge is like you go and you sit and you're like, oh yeah, like this makes sense. This is really great. And then it's right. How do I come back and integrate this with what's going on? Things are so busy. They're so dynamic. Now I have to like go do something new that feels awkward and weird. I'm just trying to survive, right? And move forward and keep my head above water. So we rely on this autopilot that we have. And that's a big part of what I look at is where, and help work with clients to find out is where are we operating on autopilot? Where do we truly have choice? And when we work with, people make me so mad. And that aspect is where are the opportunities with people, right? Either what are my patterns or what are their patterns? What are the things that are impacting our ability to communicate, collaborate, and work together? So this phase of my career journey has been the most satisfying because I have seen the positive impacts on the clients that I have worked with, as well as people within their organizations. And I'm hearing from people 6 months, a year later, that are telling me about the changes that they have made and the benefits that they continue to get. I've even had some people come back that have talked about how they've applied some of these things in their personal lives and they've mended relationships with estranged parents, right? So that's a little bit far out there, though. The idea is that when we really focus on what's within our control too, by the way, right? So many things that are out there, we're like, oh, that needs to be fixed and that needs, right? We want to go out and do all these other things and we get so frustrated because we're trying to lead a horse to water and it does not want to drink, right? If we can take that and turn around and actually look within on the things that we do have the ability to control, it unlocks this whole new level in agency in order to be able to show up the way that we want to and build these wonderful relationships. Thank you for embarking with me on this journey. I would be honored if you would make sure to hit the subscribe button to Leading Off the Spreadsheet. We are going to explore all kinds of stuff